The series begins with the police chasing a young boy, but they can't catch him. 18 years pass, and we see a world suffering from a major problem. We learn that in 1974, a pandemic spread, causing all pregnant women to give birth to girls. And to this day, the pandemic's effect remains, with the female birth rate being around 99.99%. As a result, boys have become extremely rare on the planet. The state decided to take these boys and raise them in a place called the farm to keep them under its protection, ensuring the continuation of the human race. When a boy reaches the appropriate age for marriage, he is enrolled in a competition called the Battle of the Bachelorettes, where 5 boys compete against a large number of girls. The girls keep competing until 5 of them win, and these 5 girls marry the 5 boys and live on the farm under government care. The girls love this program because it's their only chance to get married, especially since it happens only once every 4 years. At this time, the announcement for the 7th season of the program is made, and we get to know the participating boys: Max, Jean, Pierre, Almond, and Sun. It turns out their job mainly involves promoting products to people because they have become the most famous people on the planet. In another place, we see a girl named Dai who works in a supermarket. She sees an advertisement for the program but is not interested. Shortly after, her sister Mai arrives to buy supplies. We learn that Dai is the older sister and works to support herself and her sister after losing their parents. She also pays for Mai's medical expenses, as Mai has a heart condition. Even though Mai buys a lot of expensive things, Dai doesn't embarrass her and lets her take what she wants. It is revealed that Mai bought all the products advertised by the boys in the program because she loves them and the idea of the program. On her way out, Mai sees a figure of Sun and is so happy that she wants to take it home, but Dai refuses and scolds her. At the end of her shift, Dai decides to take the figure to Mai to make her happy, which makes Mai extremely happy. She dances around. One day, Dai goes out to meet her friend Valentine, who invites her to eat to celebrate finding a new job. While they are eating, Valentine shares that she joined the program's production team for the Battle of the Bachelorettes. At this time, the announcement of the girls who will participate in the competition is made. All the girls are from very wealthy families who paid a lot to join this competition. However, this year, the program management decides to do something different. They will let the girls buy lottery tickets, and a few girls will win and join the program without paying anything. This excites the girls, especially the poor ones who dream of participating but cannot afford it. The program host prepares to announce the names of the girls who won the lottery, and the surprise is that Dai is one of them. Turns out that Mai submitted Dai's name because she dreams of seeing her sister participate, knowing that Mai herself can't do it due to her illness. Dai is shocked and completely against participating, but after much insistence from Mai and Valentine, she reluctantly agrees. The day arrives to welcome the girls who won the competition. All the girls are focused on their appearance to impress the boys, except for Dai, who is only interested in the food. She spends most of her day standing by the buffet. A girl named Chanel arrives at the competition, and we learn that her father is the founder of the company funding the program and that her family already lives on the farm. It also turns out that she is a social media celebrity with a huge following, which makes her very confident. We also see her friend Buffy, who is from a wealthy family and is also very famous. The 5 boys arrive, making the girls very happy. Each girl picks a boy in her mind, hoping he will be hers, except for Dai, who, as usual, is only interested in the food. Sun appears to be one of the most popular boys, with most girls wishing to be with him. Midway through the day, Dai leaves to use the bathroom, where she accidentally meets Sun. She takes the opportunity to ask for his autograph because her sister Mai asked her to do so as soon as she sees him. However, Sun feels like she's stalking him and gets annoyed, refusing to give her his autograph. Dai then receives a call informing her that her sister Mai is sick and has been hospitalized. Dai is very worried about her sister and decides to withdraw from the competition before it even begins to check on her. Jenny, the program's producer, talks to her, saying that if she continues in the competition and succeeds, it means her entire family will receive state health care, and she won't have to worry about the cost of her sister's treatment. This news makes Dai very happy. She decides to stay in the competition and win, just to help her sister. Despite this, she still feels uneasy about leaving her sister in such a state. Valentine sees her looking upset, goes to comfort her. The first round of the competition arrives, which involves testing the girls on personal information about the 5 boys. Each boy has a color that represents him, and there are circles on the ground in each of these colors. The girls need to know which boy is the answer to each question and stand on his color. Questions come from live streams the boys have done, where they talked about themselves. Mai used to watch these live streams and told Dai everything she knew, so Dai knows most of the answers. After each question, the girls who answer incorrectly are eliminated. All the girls who entered through the lottery prize are eliminated, except for Dai. It comes down to the last question. Dai remembers the answer, but takes too long to reach the right color circle and is thus eliminated. However, the program does something different. It allows the girls who answered the last question incorrectly to enter a new mini competition. The winner of this mini competition will continue in the main competition with the remaining girls. Dai enters this mini competition, which involves each girl entering a room and locking herself in. Each boy then moves between the rooms, talking to the girls until he finds one he likes and chooses to save her. Sun doesn't want just any girl and insists on meeting Dai again after seeing her in the bathroom. Even though he is attracted to her, he refuses to save her because he is afraid she might spy on the other boys, as she did with him. Dai tries to defend herself and explain that she wasn't spying on him, but he doesn't believe her. Dai then speaks to him honestly, saying she needs to win this competition by any means to save her sister. Despite this, Sun refuses to help her till he notices the necklace she is wearing, which reminds him of something. Strangely, he changes his mind and saves her. This advances Dai to the second stage of the program. Mai is shown watching the program from her hospital bed. Feeling very happy, Dai and her friend Valentine go out to visit Mai, whose spirits have greatly improved since her sister joined the competition. Mai hopes for Dai to win. Afterward, Valentine visits her mother, and we learn that Valentine's mother had an older son, but the police forcibly took him to be raised on the farm. Since then, she hasn't known anything about him, which is why Valentine decided to work there to look for her brother. On that day, we also see Chanel's family inviting Sun over to their house. It's revealed that Kwan, Chanel's mother, is very controlling and forced her daughter to enter the competition. She used her and her husband's influence to ensure that Chanel would win, meaning the competition's outcome was predetermined. Kwan also made her daughter choose Sun as her partner to marry him, since 5 girls win the competition and the order of choosing the boys depends on their ranking. If Chanel wins first place, she gets to choose first. Therefore, her family tries to make her get closer to Sun by inviting him over. Chanel talks to Sun and asks if he's excited about the competition, but he replies that since the outcome is already known, there's no reason to be excited, making Chanel feel embarrassed. At that moment, Kwan leaves for a meeting with Jenny, the program producer, where it's revealed that Kwan bribed Jenny to arrange everything in favor of her daughter, ensuring her victory. It's also revealed that Jenny suggested including poor girls in the competition to garner public sympathy. A new round of the competition arrives. The 5 winning girls will go on dates with the 5 boys, and the winner will be determined not just by the competition results, but also by public votes. However, the girls are first shown their rooms before heading down for the competition. It's revealed that all the young boys are raised in this place under government care until they reach marriageable age, after which they join the competition. The boys help carry the girls' luggage to their rooms. Chanel becomes attracted to Max, but tries to control her feelings because she's there with a specific goal in mind. Max is also attracted to her, and surprisingly, Chanel's friend Buffy is also interested in Max. Each girl reaches her room, and Dai is amazed by hers. She calls her sister Mai to share her excitement. Afterward, the girls head down to eat, but find no food. They are informed that there's a challenge first, and those who lose won't get to. The girls focus intently on the challenge because they are hungry. They are divided into 5 teams, each led by one of the boys. Each team must gather ingredients for a dish. The boy chooses the ingredients from various food items. Dai is in Almond's team and notices that he is slowing her down. She fears they will lose, so she threatens to kill him if they lose. She doesn't get to. Frightened, Almond focuses on the game, and Dai concentrates more on this game than any other because food is the most important thing to her. Despite the other girls' attempts to sabotage her, Dai remains focused. In the end, Almond and Dai's team wins. They then add the public vote percentage, and surprisingly, Dai wins. She has gained a large following in a short time because she represents all the poor girls who dreamed of entering the competition. Dai now has the right to choose the boy she will go out with. Although it is very clear that Almond likes her, she chooses Sun, which makes Chanel very upset, so she decides to choose Almond. In the evening, the 5 girls prepares, and Sun is mesmerized seeing Dai in a dress for the first time, revealing his attraction to her. When the food arrives, Dai recalls the advice her sister gave her about first romantic dates, that she shouldn't eat too much. So Dai eats very little, trying excessively to be mindful of her behavior and speech, which makes Sun feel like she's pretending and not being herself. At the end of the day, he gives her a rating of 4 out of 10. Shocks Dai deeply. When she confronts him about it, Sun tells her that he feels she's pretending and not being true to herself. Dai responds by telling him he's a wealthy guy who can't possibly understand her. She also expresses regret for choosing him. Afterward, she walks away, leaving Sun feeling disappointed in himself. Later in the evening, Dai goes to find something to eat, and Mond, seeing her, decides to cook for her himself. Dai confides in Mond that she regrets choosing Sun. At that moment, Sun arrives to apologize to Dai, but upon hearing her regrets, he becomes upset and walks away. Sun returns to his room and recalls a childhood memory where he was the child being chased by the police after his father's murder. He refused to be handed over to the police to grow up on the farm. When his father was dying, Sun was instructed to run, and he began fleeing from the police until he met Dai by chance. Dai showed him great compassion, taking him to her favorite place where she used to bring him food and sweets. Sun eventually told Dai he didn't know his mother, prompting her to break her own chain and give him a piece of it. One day, Dai brought him food, but couldn't find him when she returned, concluding that the police had caught him. This devastated her deeply. In the present day, Sun wakes up alarmed after dreaming of the day his father was killed, still holding on to the chain Dai gave him long ago. Meanwhile, Jenny, the producer, reveals she's pregnant. Upon learning from her doctor that she's expecting a boy, Jenny becomes deeply concerned about her son's future. Mond approaches Sun, asking if he likes Dai, and Mond admits he has liked her since they first met. Sun denies any interest, claiming Dai doesn't appeal to him, which masks his true feelings due to their recent conflict. Later that day, Chanel receives a call from her mother, Quan, urging her to focus on the competition because her success is crucial. Chanel reflects on everything done to secure her spot in the competition and reluctantly agrees, despite her feelings for Max. When Max comes to greet her during breakfast, Chanel embarrasses him by saying that given another chance, she would choose Sun over him, deeply upsetting Max. Chanel joins her friends for breakfast, inadvertently humiliating Buffett, whom she lost to in the previous competition, with her words. Max witnesses this and feels distressed. It's time for the new round of the competition, where the girls are divided into 5 teams, each led by one of the boys. They are tasked with assembling a car and navigating using GPS to a specific location where they must solve puzzles. Dai, Chanel, and Buffett are in Sun's team this time. Initially, Chanel sits next to Sun to understand the navigation, but her confusion wastes valuable time. Dai decides to sit next to Sun and help him, despite her loud voice quickly tiring him out. Sun chooses Buffett instead. Despite Dai's efforts, Sun becomes exhausted from her loud voice and chooses Buffett to assist him instead. They reach the location quickly, where they begin solving the puzzles. Max's team arrives simultaneously. Each team has a box they must unlock by finding its key. Sun and Dai are on the same team. Sun seizes the opportunity to apologize for his previous remarks to Dai and admits he was wrong to criticize her. Dai also confesses she was wrong to act contrary to her nature. They find the keys, and surprisingly, there are 2 keys. Max's team manages to find the second key, but the team that holds the first key wins. Sun and his team collaborate successfully to secure the first key. On the way back to the farm, Dai speaks with Chanel, apologizing for not trusting Sun's words during the competition, which impresses Sun even more. Shortly after, they encounter a problem with their car, which Dai is able to fix due to her previous experience working in a mechanic's workshop. At the end of the round, it's announced that Sun's team has won. The top 5 girls will now choose a boy to accompany them based on points accumulated, without adding a public vote this time. The audience becomes very upset and starts complaining. Meanwhile, Sun and Max discuss Chanel and Dai, both of whom they are fond of. Simultaneously, Chanel and Dai talk, with Chanel expressing that under different circumstances, they could have been friends. Later that day, Chanel is asked to choose the boy she wants to go out with. The competition organizers decide to include a small adjustment. They reintroduce a public vote after public outcry. Since Dai and Mond receive the highest votes, they arrange a romantic date for them at a more luxurious location than the others. Mond is happy to see Dai enjoying herself and even offers her his meal. They start dancing together, and at that moment, Dai's pendant falls off, surprising Mond, who notices that Sun has a similar pendant, completing Dai's pendant design. This realization deeply affects Dai, as she concludes that Sun is the child she saved long ago. On the other hand, let's see Valentine, who managed to sneak into a secret place in the building. She starts searching for her brother in the database, until she discovers that Mond is actually her brother. On her way out, she realizes that she dropped her ID card and hadn't noticed. Then she encounters a security guard who intends to reprimand her for entering a restricted area. Mond, who happened to be passing by, intervenes and explains that he was showing her around the place and she didn't know it was a secret area. Due to what he did, the guard lets her go. She stands next to her brother, feeling both happy and anxious because he doesn't recognize her, and she's afraid he won't believe her. Meanwhile, Dai meets San, who is delighted that she remembered him. Dai hugs San San, thrilled to see him again, and learns from him that he disappeared that day because the police caught him. Since then, he hasn't left that place. Dai suggests they leave together since it's a holiday from the competition, and San agrees. On that same day, Jenny discovers that Valentine searched the system. When confronted, Valentine confesses that they took her brother away after he was born. Their mother will die without seeing him. That's why she was trying to find him. Jenny reflects on her son's fate, sympathizes with Valentine. Consequently, she decides to forgive her and not tell anyone. She also allows her to return to her job. At night, Lyle prepares Dai and San to leave. San disguises himself as a girl, so people on the street won't recognize him. They start making their way out of the farm without being seen. By chance, they meet Pierre, who is also disguised as a girl to move freely. It turns out he managed to meet his favorite singer and learned that he lives outside the farm. He decides to go meet him, and they are forced to take him with them. Later, they find a car and take it to go on their errands. On the other hand, Valentine meets Mond under the pretext of wanting to take a picture with him. She tries to find out from him if he misses his family. Mond says he doesn't miss them at all and considers the people with him at the farm to be his family. He remembers that mothers in the past abandoned them to the police to raise them, not knowing that the police took the children away from their mothers easily. They are then locked up in a secret place and given pills to forget everything. No one leaves unless they genuinely forget everything or are declared insane. Pierre gets off halfway to go meet the singer. As for San and Dai, they find a place to sit down. San is amazed by the food because in the farm he was forced to eat specific things to maintain his appearance and weight. During this time, they notice people paying attention to them. After recognizing Dai, they are forced to leave the place. Dai starts thinking of another place they can go until she decides to take him home to meet her sister Mai, who is overjoyed to see him. Dai leaves them and goes to do something else. Mai talks to San and mentions that her sister used to have a friend whose name she doesn't remember. She was deeply upset when he suddenly disappeared, and until now, she couldn't forget him. San deduces that she was referring to him and is affected. Later, Dai arrives, and San asks her to take him to the place where they used to sit as children. She agrees, and on the way, she asks him what he would do if she won and chose him to marry. San is forced to tell her the truth, that the outcome was predetermined and Chanel would win. Dai is shocked and feels she has been treated unfairly. San begins to tell her about the injustice they have endured for years living on the farm and about the corruption within the system. They aren't living the luxurious life people believe. Dai sympathizes with him, and San admits he was resigned to the situation, but after meeting her, he's willing to do anything to choose his freedom. And on the other hand, Pierre arrives at the singer, whose name is Chun. Pierre is curious to know how the government left him living outside. We know that Chun is part of a group called City Ground, and this group is opposed to the idea of imprisoning young people in the farm. They made many protests, and 13 years ago they tried to rescue young people from the farm. However, the plan failed, and the government managed to kill most of the group's members, leaving only a few. They work secretly, and Chun starts telling him the truth about the government and what they do to any mother who refuses to surrender her son. Pierre is shocked by what he learns, especially since he has spent his entire life thinking that his family abandoned him. Afterwards, the three guys gather to return to the farm. The three are shocked by what they found out, to the extent that they want to escape, but they decide to return to the farm to rescue the remaining guys who are trapped there. Pierre reassures them that there is a member of the City Ground group working inside the farm, a spy unknown to anyone, whose name he learned from Chun. The surprise is that this person is Valentine, so they go to meet her, or start thinking about how to find evidence to prove that the results are forged, to present it to the people, and thus the whole country learns the truth about the government. Turns out that someone from the guys heard what they were saying, but they don't know who. The next day, a new round of the competition begins, which is a new game. 5 girls and guys are chosen to compete for the title of sorcerer. Each player hides in a place, and the sorcerer has the chance to kill anyone in the game. The rest have to guess who the sorcerer is. If they guess right, the sorcerer loses, but if they guess wrong, the person who incorrectly named someone leaves the game. We know they chose 5 sorcerers and got to know them. They chose one hidden sorceress, Chanel. It's announced that the girl who wins will choose a guy to meet her family. We conclude they chose Chanel as a hidden sorceress so she could defeat the other players and choose San to meet her family. Game starts, and Chanel remains hidden. In the middle of the game, she discovers that Buffy was a sorceress and betrayed her to get Max out of the game and leave her behind. Chanel gets upset with her friend, more so when Buffy inadvertently exposes her. Chanel argues with her because she lost a lot of points, even though she knows her mother always forces her to win to marry San in the end. Buffy responds to her attempts to outdo her and tells her that she actually loves Max, not San, and that she cannot live her whole life executing orders from her mother that she is not convinced of. Chanel is affected and cannot respond. Then it's time to announce the results. So the points of the game are collected with the public vote. Despite losing many points, it is announced that she is the winner. She chooses San to meet her family, so Max and Buffy become very upset. Afterwards, the 4 guys gather and find out that Mound was the one present and overheard them revealing the truth about the farm. Mound decides to help them in their new plan. They plan to exploit the fact that San Kwan is going to meet Kwan, Chanel's mother, to get a recorded confession from her admitting that the results were forged. They attach a small device to record the conversation. San successfully gets a confession from her. When he returns to his friends, they find Jenny and security personnel waiting there. Jenny has managed to uncover their plan. They are very afraid of her reaction. However, Jenny takes the recording they have, decides to forgive them. It turns out she never fully agreed with everything happening at the farm, but was forced to follow orders. The five guys start talking to her, surprised at how she uncovered them. They try to influence her with their words, asking her to imagine herself in the place of every mother who lost her son to incarceration in this place. Jenny thinks back to her son and becomes deeply affected. Despite this, she refuses to help them, takes all the evidence they have, and leaves. She decides to inform Valentine, seeing this as her second mistake. However, San quickly comes up with an alternative plan. It turns out that when he was at Chanel's house, he stole the secret code from her that allows access to the place where the women are being held captive. He gives it to Valentine before she leaves the farm. Valentine heads to this location, manages to capture images of the women who are imprisoned there, and on her way out, she is spotted by security. However, she manages to escape from them. Dai is summoned to meet Kwan, who shows her a video of her sister Mai after they moved her to a much nicer room. He informs her that they plan to cover all of Mai's medical expenses. Despite this happy news, Dai fears they are gaining control over her sister and worries they might harm her. Within days, Mai undergoes surgery and her condition improves significantly. It becomes evident that Dai is present with her to check on her after the operation. As soon as the competition is mentioned, Dai breaks down. However, she refuses to tell her sister anything about what she has learned so as not to let her feel disappointed as she did. At this point, only 5 girls remain in the competition. Each is allowed to go out with the guy she chose for the last time before they go to see the house they will live in after marriage. Since these 5 girls are already the winners of the competition, Dai watches the house and feels sad that she's watching it with Mond, not San, whom she loves. Mond senses that she's not happy, which bothers him. He promises her that he will pay attention to her and her sister. Afterward, he changes the subject and decides to bring her food. Later that night, Dai manages to meet San without anyone knowing. Each confesses their feelings, hoping for something that will allow them to get married. At the same time, Chanel is surprised by a visit from Max, who is still infatuated with her. He cannot be convinced to love anyone else and will confess his feelings to her. However, Chanel refuses and admits that she is forced to choose San because she must follow her mother's orders, who loves her deeply and cannot afford to disobey her. Chanel is affected when she remembers that when she reached the finals, her mother congratulated her, and for the first time, she did not feel happy with her mother's appreciation. She regrets listening to her words, and therefore Chanel is confused and does not know who to choose. Eventually, Valentine can help Dai and San escape from the hospital. The next morning, Dai is surprised when someone sends her food. When she opens the box, she finds a phone inside and discovers that Valentine did so secret so that she could communicate with them in this manner, and she told them to reassure them. She was able to record a video of the women imprisoned, and they agreed to expose the truth of the program on the day of the final results announcement. And on the day of the final results announcement, the 5 young men will be ready, and each of them is enthusiastic to know which girl will be his fate, because there is still a chance for them to change. Then the 5 girls arrive. Dai remembers her friend Valentine's words to her, told her that she must succeed and take the first place, because everyone is hopeful for her. And the 5 girls start a new competition. They are required to play a game similar to the maze. The winner will take first place. Chanel knows the right way, and that's why she can win. As for Dai, she can win through her efforts, and the 2 of them reach the final step. Despite Dai's many attempts, she loses. At that time, we see the 3 young men who can make fun of one of the employees in order to put the video that was taken of the mothers on the laptop, and thus they can present it to all people. Their plan succeeds without the employee feeling anything. Chanel wins first place in the competition, therefore she has the right to choose any of the 5 guys. The surprise is that she chooses Max after careful consideration, deciding she doesn't want to live miserably just to obey her mother's orders. The audience, including Chanel's family, is shocked. Buffy is very happy for her friend. Because of what happened, Dai can now choose San. They are happy that their wish has come true. However, Dai presents the video of the mothers imprisoned in front of the audience. She speaks out about the corruption happening and reveals that the results were forged. The audience, including Chanel, is stunned. Kwan is terrified and tries to contact Jenny, but she doesn't respond. We find out that Jenny is involved in what is happening and collaborated with Valentine and Chun. This was because she thought it was in her son's interest for people to know the truth. Dai announces to the audience audience that she chose San. Afterward, there is a large protest from the audience, who feel deceived. Taking advantage of the distraction, the four boys escape. Valentine waits for them in the car with Chun so they can escape together. Mond refuses to leave with them because he is afraid of the outside world. He confesses that he was the one who informed Jenny the first time because he wanted her to stop them. He believed the world outside was more dangerous than the farm. Despite their shock, they forgive him. Mond continues to refuse to go with them. Valentine intervenes and tells him she is his sister. Mond is deeply affected, but still refuses to go with them. So the five leave him and continue. Valentine is devastated throughout the journey because she doesn't know what to tell her mother. At the same time, people's protests increase. Jenny is happy with what's happening and leaves the program management to act while she escapes with her friend who is there just for her. Mond is investigated and admits he knew their plan. If he didn't admit it and they found out he was lying, he would have faced severe punishment. Chanel is forced to confront her mother after what happened. For the first time, her opinion doesn't matter to her, so she beats her with a pen, unlike her father, who thought she did the right thing when she chose the guy she loved. After that, we see Dai and San watching the news while in the street. Mai is with them, and Dai and San are happy that people know the truth. At the same time, they are afraid for their future. Valentine goes to tell her mother what happened. She apologizes for not being able to persuade him to escape with her. 4 years pass. We see Dai and San after they got married and had a child. They are living a happy life on a farm far from the city. Kwan is still searching for the 3 boys who escaped until she can reach Dai and San's location. She learns that they got a baby. She intends to take revenge on them.